Rachel slammed her wine glass down on the table. You don't get it, Ethan. You'll never succeed without me. The words cut straight through me. I stared at her, my chest tightening. You really believe that? She crossed her arms. I don't just believe it, I know it. Look at your track record. Every idea you've had. I polished it. Every connection you made. I opened the door. Without me, you'd still be stuck chasing scraps. I clenched my fists. That's not true. I've worked just as hard as you. Her laugh was sharp. Worked hard, Ethan? Working hard without results is just failure in disguise? I stood, pacing the room. You're twisting everything we've built. We were supposed to be a team. Her eyes narrowed. I was the team. You were the baggage. The floor seemed to fall out beneath me. Say that again? You heard me? She leaned back in her chair, calm as a knife. You're dead weight. I carried you. I grabbed my jacket. If that's how you see me, then maybe you'll get to see how wrong you are. She tilted her head, mocking. Or maybe I'll watch you crumble without me. Again, shook my head, voice low. One day, Rachel, you'll regret those words. She smirked. Doubt it. I stormed out, slamming the door so hard the frame rattled. Lucas found me at the bar an hour later, nursing a drink I wasn't even tasting. You look like hell, he said, sliding onto the stool beside me. Double quotes, thanks, I muttered. What happened this time? She told me I'll never succeed without her. He whistled. Ouch. That's brutal, even for Rachel. I drained the glass. Meant it. Every word, then good, he said flatly. I frowned. Good. Yeah, let her think that. Prove her wrong. Nothing burns like spite-fueled ambition. I laughed bitterly. You make it sound easy, he shrugged. Not easy, but simple. Either let her be right or fight back. Later, in the alley behind the bar, I leaned against the wall, staring up at the stars. Lucas lit a cigarette, the glow catching his face. You still love her? He asked. I don't even know anymore. I thought we were partners. Turns out, I was just convenient. He blew out smoke. You were more than that. You just forgot to remind her. Or maybe she reminded me who I really am, I muttered. A screw-up. Lucas flicked the cigarette away. No, a screw-up is someone who stays down. You're still standing, aren't you? I stayed quiet, the ache in my chest louder than words. When I got back to my apartment, Rachel's perfume still lingered on the couch. I sat down, staring at the empty space beside me. Her voice replayed in my head. You'll never succeed without me. I pressed my palms to my face, whispering, We'll see. But the humiliation sat heavy, sharp enough to cut. That night I didn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, already haunted by the choice I hadn't yet made. The mornings all felt the same: emails, rejections, silence. I slammed my laptop shut and muttered, another one. Lucas leaned against the counter, sipping his beer. That makes how many? Too many, I said. They don't even bother with interviews anymore. Just copy-paste rejection. He smirked. Maybe they've got a Rachel working in HR. I glared. Not funny. It's a little funny. That night, we ended up at the bar again. The place was half empty, neon lights flickering like they were tired too. Lucas clinked his glass against mine. So what's the plan? Drink until rejection letters stop hurting? I sighed. A plan. Every move I make feels like proof. She was right. Bullshit, he said sharply, letting her words turn into prophecy. I rubbed my temples. She said I'd never succeed without her. And look at me now. He leaned closer. You can either let her be right, or you can fight back. The words hit harder than the whiskey. I stared into my glass. Fight back, huh? Damn right. Quietly, you don't owe anyone updates, least of all her. Just build. Stack the wins until you're standing on them. I shook my head. It's easier said than done. Lucas smirked. So, everything worth doing is... The walk home was cold, the city buzzing faintly in the background. His words echoed in my head. Let her be right or fight back. When I opened my apartment door, the stale air felt heavier than ever. I dropped into my chair and reopened my laptop. Another rejection email blinked at me. I didn't delete it. I saved it. One day I'd use it. As fuel, I whispered to the empty room, "You'll regret saying it, Rachel." And for the first time since she left, I believed I could make that true. The nights blurred together deliveries. Freelancing odd jobs nobody else wanted. Lucas shook his head when I came in one morning, grease on my shirt. "You're killing yourself." "I'm saving," I said, dropping a wad of crumpled bills on the counter. "For what? Another failure?" I glared. "For my idea. I'm not done yet," he sighed. "You're running on fumes, better fumes." "Then regret," I muttered. At work later that week, I stayed late cleaning up reports. That's when Maya noticed me. "You're still here?" she asked, leaning against my desk. "Yeah, over time," she tilted her head. "Over time or obsession?" I gave a weak smile. "Maybe both." She studied me. "Whatever you're chasing, I hope it's worth it." "It has to be," I said quietly. Days turned into weeks. Every dollar I saved went into the plan, my own small venture. I kept it secret, even from Lucas. But Rachel's voice stayed in my head. "You'll never succeed without me." I repeated it to myself each night, turning her insult into fuel. One afternoon, I ducked into a cafe to grab coffee. It's when I saw her, Rachel. She sat near the window with a man in a tailored suit. He whispered something, and she laughed, resting her hand on his arm. My chest tightened. I forced myself to order, staring straight ahead. When she glanced up, her eyes met mine. For a second, I thought she'd wave. She didn't. She turned back to him, dismissing me like I was nothing. I walked out, coffee burning in my hand, fire raging inside me. That night, Lucas noticed my silence. "You saw her, didn't you?"
I
Nodded. "With someone else?" "Yeah," he grimaced. "You gonna let that eat you alive?" I shook my head. "No, I'm going to let it push me harder." Weeks later, I landed a meeting with a potential client. Small, firm, modest office, but it felt like my shot. The man skimmed my proposal. "You really think you can deliver this?" I leaned forward. "I don't just think it, I know it. Give me the chance and I'll prove it." Silence stretched. Then he nodded. "Fine, you're hired." I walked out of that office grinning like a madman. Lucas called immediately. "Well, I got it," I said breathlessly. "My first client." He laughed. "Hell yes. Now you're cooking." Hung up, standing on the sidewalk, letting the moment sink in. Rachel was wrong. I wasn't baggage. And this was just the beginning. Lucas tossed a beer my way. "You should be celebrating, man. First client, first paycheck, it's a win." I caught it but didn't open it. "Not yet." He frowned. "Not yet. What more do you need?" "Momentum. One client doesn't mean anything if I can't keep it going." He groaned. "You're impossible. Normal people throw parties after milestones like this." I shook my head. "I don't want a party. I want proof. Real proof. Something so big even Rachel can't ignore it." Maya dropped. "A file on my desk. That's 2 more referrals. Both want proposals." I blinked. "You're serious?" She smiled, completely serious. Words spreading, "You deliver fast and you don't waste time." My chest warmed. "That's huge." She tilted her head. "So why don't you look happy?" "I am. Just quietly." She laughed softly. "Quiet happiness. That's a new one. Noise is for people who need attention," I said. "I need results." That night, Lucas called again. "You're too quiet, don't you get it? Rachel doesn't matter anymore." "She matters until I prove her wrong," I replied. He sighed. "And when will that be? What's the finish line?" "When she sees me and realizes I didn't need her." Lucas was silent for a long time. Then he muttered, "I just hope you're not chasing ghosts." The weeks piled on. I worked until dawn, fueled by caffeine and determination. Maya noticed the exhaustion in my face. "You're burning out. I'll rest when I've earned it." She studied me. "And when will that be?" "When I can look her in the eye." "And not feel small," I whispered. Maya nodded slowly. "And I hope you get there soon." By the end of the month, 3 more contracts landed on my desk. I shook Lucas's hand after signing the biggest one yet. "You're climbing," he said. "Faster than I thought you would." I smiled faintly. "That's the point. Quiet progress. Silent fuel." He rolled his eyes. "You sound like some revenge monk." "Maybe. But when I finally show the world, it'll be worth every sleepless night." And deep inside, I knew I wasn't just building a business. I was building the moment she'd regret ever saying I couldn't. Lucas leaned across the table, lowering his voice. "You hear about Rachel's new guy?" I kept my eyes on my coffee. "I don't care," he smirked. "And you won't care that Nathan Hayes is hemorrhaging money. Word is, he backed some shady real estate plays. They're tanking fast." I almost laughed. That didn't take long. Lucas raised his glass. It's poetic justice. "I'll drink to that." Later that week, Maya caught me staring at my phone. "You heard the rumors too?" she asked gently. I slipped the phone back in my pocket. Everyone's talking. "Do you feel vindicated?" I thought about it. I don't feel sorry for him, but her. She chose this. She gambled. Maya tilted her head. "So what do you want, Ethan?" I exhaled slowly. I want her to see what she threw away. It happened 2 nights later. I was walking home when I saw them, Rachel and Nathan, arguing outside the same cafe where she once ignored me. Nathan's voice was sharp. "I told you, the market will bounce back." Rachel hissed back, "You've lost half of everything already." He threw his hands up. "You like the cars, the trips, the status. Now you want to act surprised?" Her jaw trembled. I didn't. Sign up to be poor. I leaned against a lamppost, silent, watching. Nathan stormed toward his car, slamming the door. Rachel stood frozen. Her arms wrapped around herself. Her eyes flicked up. A hand landed on me. For a heartbeat, recognition burned. Between us, she opened her mouth like she might say something, but I just raised my chin and walked on. No words. No comfort, just distance. Lucas called later. "You saw them, didn't you?" "I did," I said, and I didn't interfere. Just watched. He laughed. "Cold. I like it." "It's not about being cold," I said. "It's about being done." The next morning, Maya stopped by my desk. "You look different, do I?" "Yes. Like you've let go of something heavy." I nodded. "'Cause I have. I don't want her back. I just want her to know she lost." Maya studied me for a long time. Then she smiled faintly. "Then keep winning." For the first time, Rachel's downfall didn't feel like revenge. It felt like closure. Lucas barged into my office, waving his phone. "Ethan, you're on the front page." I looked up from my laptop. "What?" He shoved the screen at me. An article headline blared. "Coal Innovations disrupts market with bold vision." I read the first lines, my heart pounding. There. Actually writing about me. Lucas grinned. "Not just writing, praising. This is big, man. Huge." The call started that afternoon. "Mr. Cole, we'd love to discuss a partnership. Ethan, our firm is interested in your approach." Even my inbox flooded with invitations, conferences, panels, networking galas. Maya leaned against my desk, smiling. "I told you the right people would notice." I stared at the emails. "It feels unreal." She tapped my arm. "It's real. And it's only the beginning." The gala was surreal. Chandeliers glittered overhead, and the room buzzed with chatter. I adjusted my tie, nerves clawing at my stomach. Lucas nudged me. "Relax, you belong here." I muttered, "Tell that too." My hands, they won't stop shaking. "Then let them shake," he said. "Your work speaks louder than nerves." Halfway through the night, I caught sight of her, Rachel. She stood across the ballroom, glass of champagne in hand, her gaze locked on me. For a second, the old sting returned. The memory of her words, "You'll never succeed without me," echoed, but then I saw the cluster of investors around me, eager for my attention, and I realized something. I wasn't small anymore. Lucas followed my line of sight. "She's here, I know. She looks, what's the word? Unreadable." I smirked. Faintly. "Good. Let her wonder," he chuckled. "I like this version of you." Later, as I shook hands with a potential client, I felt her presence closer. Rachel brushed past, her perfume sharp and familiar. Congratulations. Ethan, she said quietly. I looked her in the eye. Thank you. Just thank you. No bitterness. No longing. Her lips parted like she expected more, but I turned back to my conversation. Lucas clapped my shoulder. That moment, that was victory. I exhaled a smile, tugging at my lips. It felt like it. He leaned in. Remember this? Though it's just the start. And for the first time, I believed him. My phone buzzed close to midnight. A message lit the screen. Can we talk? For a moment, I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. I typed back, about what? The reply came fast. US, please. I met her at a quiet cafe, the same one where I'd once waited hours for her. She was already there, eyes swollen like she'd been crying. Ethan, she whispered as I sat down. I leaned back, arms crossed. You wanted to talk? Go ahead. She swallowed hard. I made a mistake. I raised an eyebrow. Just one. Voice trembled. Nathan, he wasn't what I thought. Bad deals, bad decisions. I lost everything I trusted him with. And he made me feel small, weaker than ever. I didn't flinch. That's ironic. She leaned forward. But you're different now. Stronger, more confident. You've become the man I always knew you could be. I let her words hang in the air. Stronger than you remembered. Yes, her eyes searched mine. Exactly that. I gave. A humorless laugh. Rachel, you left me because I wasn't enough. You wanted more, so you upgraded. Her lips quivered. I thought I was choosing security. I thought I was choosing someone who could give me everything. And I was wrong. Tears welled again. I should have believed in you. I tapped my fingers against the table. So now that you've lost your safety net, you're looking back at me? No. She shook her head quickly. That's not it. When I look at you now, I see the man I should have stayed with. The man I pushed away because I was blind. Her desperation filled the silence. Finally, I said, you left me for better. Don't crawl back now that I'm better without you. Her face crumpled. Ethan, please. No. My voice was calm, steady. You don't get to rewrite what happened. She reached across the table, but I pulled my hand back. I thought seeing you win would hurt me, I admitted quietly. But it doesn't. It shows me I survived without you. I grew without you. Her tears spilled freely now. You're really not going to forgive me? I shook my head. Forgiveness isn't the same as taking you back. And that part, it's gone. She buried her face in her hands, sobbing softly. People in the cafe turned to look, but I stayed seated, steady as stone. When she finally lifted her head, the voice was a whisper. So this is it? I stood. This is closure. As I walked out, the weight on my chest lifted. Not heavy, not bitter, just gone. The spotlight was blinding. Out. But the applause drowned out the nerves. Ladies and gentlemen, the host announced, please welcome Ethan Cole. I walked across the stage, the microphone cool in my hand. Good evening, I said, scanning the audience. My voice didn't shake. When I started this journey, I had nothing but doubt, most of it, not from the world, but from the people. Closest to me, tonight standing here, I want to share one truth. Failure doesn't define you. Persistence does. The crowd clapped, some even nodding as I spoke. My eyes caught her. Rachel. She sat halfway back, her once polished look dimmed. No diamond on her hand, no Nathan by her side. Just silence. I pressed forward. They told me I'd never make it alone. But what they forgot is that the fire inside can't be stolen. It can only be ignored or embraced. Afterward, the Q&A began. A young man asked, what kept you going when no one believed in you? I smiled faintly, their disbelief. The audience laughed, then clapped again. My chest swelled with something I hadn't felt in years, vindication. When the session ended, people crowded me, shaking hands, asking for advice. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Rachel hesitate near the exit. For once, she wasn't the star in the room. She was a shadow. Lucas found me in the chaos. Man, you killed it. You think so? I asked, grinning. Think so? You owned that stage. You looked like you belonged up there. I exhaled. Funny, a year ago I couldn't even convince myself of that. Yeah, but look around, he said, nodding toward the crowd. They're convinced now. Later, as people trickled out, Rachel finally approached. Her voice was soft. You were incredible. I met her gaze. Thanks. That's all you have to say. She asked, almost pleading. I tilted my head. Rachel, you came here to see me speak, not to hear me comfort you. Her lips parted, but no words came. She just stood there, awkward and small. I gave her a nod, then turned back to Lucas. Ready? To get out of here? Always, he said, clapping me on the back. As we walked out, I glanced one last time at the hall. She was still standing there, lost in the crowd. For the first time, it wasn't me left behind. It was her. The cafe smelled like roasted beans and rain on pavement. I stirred my coffee, half listening to Lucas ramble about his weekend. You're not even hearing me, he said, narrowing his eyes. I smirked.
Right.
I'm hearing you. I'm just not impressed. He rolled his eyes. Fine. Ignore my thrilling social life. How's it feel, boss man? Your company's in every magazine.
Yeah.
Family finally stopped treating you like a joke. Don't tell me you don't feel 10 feet tall. I leaned back. It feels steady. Like I'm not chasing their approval anymore. I'm just living. The bell above the cafe door jingled. I froze. Rachel, she walked in slowly, eyes darting until they landed on me. Lucas muttered. Well, this should be fun. She approached. Our table. Ethan. She whispered, almost trembling. I nodded. Rachel, Lucas stood. I'll give you 2 a minute. He shot me a look that said, don't let her pull you in, then walked away. Rachel's voice cracked. I just wanted to say I was wrong. I studied her carefully. Clothes weren't flashy anymore, okay? The diamond necklace she once flaunted was gone. She looked smaller. I set down my cup. I know. Her eyes widened. That's it? White. More is there? I asked. You made your choice. I made mine. We're past it. She bit her lip. You're stronger than I remembered. I leaned forward. Oh, Rachel. I'm stronger than I ever was. Because you left. Her mouth opened, but nothing came. Finally, she turned, walking out of the cafe with her head bowed. Lucas came back. Dropping into his chair? Well, I shrugged. She said she was wrong. And you? I told her I knew. He grinned. Cold. I like it. It wasn't cold, I said quietly. It was final. Later that night, I sat in my office. The city lights glowed through the window, reflecting against the framed articles lining my wall. I whispered to myself, You didn't just succeed, Ethan. You got yourself back. For the first time, the silence felt like peace. I leaned back in my chair and smiled, quiet, steady, certain.